Hello everybody. On this day in 2006, the painting The Scream was recovered after it had been stolen almost exactly 2 years earlier. Not the first time the picture had been stolen and recovered. It's a picture which now hangs in the National Gallery in Oslo to be enjoyed, but also perhaps to find somewhat disconcerting because its title describes the horror and the pain of human existence. It's interesting to hear what Edvard Munch himself says about this painting and its origins for him. I was walking along the road with two friends. There was blood and tongues of fire above the blue-black fjord and the city. My friends walked on, and I stood there trembling with anxiety, and I sensed an infinite scream passing through nature. I think at the moment it's not difficult to identify with that phrase, the infinite scream passing through nature, as we hear consistently, as we seem to be at the moment, of bushfires, of floods, of excessive heat, of icebergs melting. We're well aware of the danger of all this to our planet, and it's hard to find words that express how we feel, to express the fear, the anxiety that this creates. And it's interesting that St. Paul, writing to the Romans all those years ago, also had this idea of the world of nature struggling. He described it as groaning with the pangs of childbirth, and he too couldn't find the words to express how he felt about this. He said only the Spirit can bring to God our feelings in response to the world's struggles. And indeed, for those of us who are Christian, that is our only way of finding hope, that somehow through what's going on, God will bring something creative, maybe a radical change in the outlook of our politicians and those who lead in the industrial and commercial sphere, so that the need to control the climate becomes much more dominant than it is at the moment. Or even if that fails, I suppose our hope is that God will somehow bring, even out of terrible destruction that climate change might eventually bring, something creative. But for those of us who are Christians, it is a long shot. And for those of us who aren't, it isn't particularly helpful to know about that. But I think for all of us, whether Christians or not, the picture that Munch painted of that screaming face does reflect the fear and anxiety that we all feel.